So it's actually really interesting that you talked about iTero tonight, because the top leading story of tonight's Dentist in the Know news is that Align officially filed a lawsuit on January 3rd against Smile Direct Club, and it went public today. So they are alleging, that Smile Direct Club is running campaigns and convincing consumers that their cases are being backed, watched, and overseen by dentists and orthodontists. I do know that that was a recent change for Smile Direct Club. They were looking to partner with local dentists. They would pay them a small fee for a capture and, some type of relationship with the patient, then convert it to a Smile Direct Club case, and then Smile Direct Club would manage it from there. Of course, we all know the interesting history of the relationship between Align and Smile Direct Club. And, what 10, 15 years has led to is now Align is trying to call Smile Direct Club to the carpet and say you can't continue to practice or can't continue to operate this way any longer. So we'll be watching that very intently. It did go into the California court system, so who knows what will come of that, but certainly an interesting recent legal development.
That is interesting.
I thought so. I thought you might also find it interesting that we are finalists for a Dr. Bicuspid Cuspy. I thought you'd find that interesting. So, we're new to this process of being in the Cuspy pool. And we were a semifinalist. Now we're finalists. There's 2 left in the Dentist Influencers of the Year category.
Do we have to answer questions like we want world peace?
Yes. I think this is the question. And for you, it is the swimsuit portion.
Yes. And all the children should be fed. And all we really want at the end of the day is world peace.
Every day.
I hope that scores. Okay. No, thank you everyone for that. Yeah.
We could not, obviously we wouldn't even be a finalist if all the support that we had. I had so many people texting me, sending me screenshots of them voting and, participating in the process. Now our fate is in the hands of an expert panel who will make the ultimate decision on whether or not we are the influencers of the year. So rest assured, our faithful followers, there's nothing more you can do to carry us over this threshold. We must do it on our own work and merit at this point in time. But it's really just an honor to continue to be included as part of this process.
We cannot stuff the ballot box. There's no way. There's no possible way
for us
to stuff the ballot box.
You want a hanging Chad?
Yeah.
Let's
hang Chad.
You can figure it out.
Let's hang Chad anyway.
Just for kicks.
Just for kicks. Let's hang Chad.
That might get us the award. That might get us the award because that would be very influential.
Yeah, that would be good. Well, great news. Anything else?
2 more things. Massachusetts is back in the news again. Of course, we talked about them in late fall of 2022 because of the question 2 on their ballot, doing the medical loss ratio issue that they were voting for at that time. They were successful at the ballot. They wasted no time. Also had a suit and won against Aspen Dental for some nefarious marketing practices. And so, again, we're seeing Massachusetts taking a pretty firm stance on patient protection and ensuring that patients are receiving the quality and standard of care that they are both paying for and deserve, and also making sure that good quality providers continue to stay in the state and are reimbursed at a fair rate. So it's nice to continue to see that state wanting to protect their providers and their patients accordingly. The last thing I'll mention, and it's mostly because of the individual we have on tonight, HPI, which is the data release that the ADA has been collecting really routinely over the last couple of years. This is probably one of the most interesting statistics, I think, Jeff, that you will find that has come out of this data. And it shows since 2005, there's been a pretty strong precipitous decrease in the number of practice owners amongst dentists. And it's in all age categories, probably for the first time. So we're seeing a drop in every age. So the real sweet spot, when you look at the data for practice ownership, is usually between 35 and 50. Most dentists sort of will gravitate towards practice ownership during that time. And even in that sweet spot of both, having some experience, maybe some of the debt management from school has been managed a little bit. You're feeling more confident about your skills. Maybe financially, you're in a better position to be able to own. Even that metric is dropping, and not as many, we'll say, mid-career dentists are jumping in to own practices. So I think continues to be an interesting trend that we need to stay on top of. What's really scary is that the 30 to 35 or under 35 is less than 10% ownership, which is very different than where it had been. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up the exact statistic here. But my mouse is not wanting to cooperate. Anyway, I'll post those statistics for our group. It's pretty significant, the drop. And in those categories where you think that's probably the sweet spot for folks to own, and they're either selling or they're not entering practice ownership altogether.
That's really an interesting concept, because that means that they are either selling to DSOs or to larger corporates, or they're saying, I'm making a whole lot of money working for a DSO or a corporate. And so there's really no need, or maybe even working for another dentist and doing so well that they don't see practice ownership as being a worthwhile venture. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. And I think too, just in the forums I follow and stuff, that there's a couple of things at play. We've got 50% female doctor proportions in a lot of those age demographics under probably 40, 45. And their ability to own and manage and do all the things that, I'm a mommy dentist in business. And that's a pretty consistent theme, is many of them are owning practices and finding all the challenges, just like I expressed in the opening segment tonight. It is extremely difficult to be a full-time working mom, practice owner, and raising kids and doing all the things that you feel I feel inclined and responsible to do. It's both a burden and a blessing simultaneously. So I think that is a statistic that also can't really be ignored, is how the demographics of dentistry is changing at the same time, and what is that impact on practice ownership as well.